I have been journeying towards a zero waste lifestyle in Gangtok for the past 5 years. What it means basically is not sending any waste to the Gangtok's landfill site. In case anyone has missed seeing what it looks like, this is it. This was taken in November 2017. It would look a bit different now, as around 8,500 trucks of garbage would have been added on top of this trash since then. So my zero waste journey has been all about debunking age-old lies and myths. It took me quite a few years of working on waste to finally realize that this figure right here, that promotes no littering and using dustbins as a solution to our waste problem, is one big fat lie. We have been constantly told that we need only to put our trash in the bin and we would have done our part. Companies too absolve themselves completely of the responsibility of managing the plastic waste that they are throwing at us by simply printing this tiny logo on their packets that says dispose properly. But really, are dustbins the solution to our waste problem? Isn't it time that we think beyond that and really start questioning? Where is all my trash ending up ultimately? Where are all things coming from? They're obviously coming from somewhere. Where is it coming from? What goes into making all the stuff? So I began with this one question of where my trash is ending up, and with that single question, my zero waste journey had begun. I followed Gangtok's waste trail and I went down to the 32nd mile dumping site, and I saw for myself what a big mess we have created down there. It is a problem of mountainous proportions. So when I reached this place, I realized that all the trash that I have been throwing over the years is ending up here, and probably some of it leaking also into the river that flows below. So not only is it lying here, the big realization was that it is going to be there forever and outlive me and my future generations as well. So let's give that some more thought. Every bit of plastic that has ever been made is still lying on this planet. The wonder material is not so wonderful anymore. So I started looking back. I started working on waste since '99, as soon as I passed out of college. And when I went to the landfill, never before had felt the urgency and the push that things have to change, that things cannot go on the same way. So I started looking inwards, and I looked at my own trash. And then I realized that what I'm throwing away is directly related to what I choose to buy. What I choose to buy, how I choose to buy, and my trash is a direct reflection of what lifestyle do I want to live. So I devised myself a few strategies. The first one is the strict no-nos. So to a couple of things, to actually not a couple, more than a couple of things, I say a strict no-no. So all your plastic bottles, your plastic bags, the PP bags, garbage bags, everything, the single-use plastic items as they are called, it's a strict no-no. We need to be careful now about the biodegradable plastic bags which are being promoted as alternatives, but in fact they are just as much plastic. So, and it's not rocket science actually to solve the problem of single-use plastic items. I just carry my own water bottle, my own cloth bag. I even carry my own cups, plates and mugs when I know that, I have to eat out. So with this was my step one of the zero waste journey. Then I graduated to saying no to packaged items. And this was mainly related to the food department. I just said no to whatever is packaged. And we are very fortunate that actually every neighborhood sells us stuff which is loose. So in fact what I do, my regular shop is just downstairs. I carry all my jars with me when I go to buy my normal groceries, and then I bring it back in the jar. I even don't bring back the paper bags. So everything I buy loose, and we have options, we just need to look around. So this was step two. And For times when I have to go to the mall, especially when I am in Siliguri, I take my own produce bags so that I can just say no to the biodegradable bags. Then the step 3 for me was, a very important step was saying no to the junk food. So all the chips, all the packaged item that comes in multi-layered plastics, the biscuits, the instant noodles, I just said no. And anyways, these are unhealthy options with all the salt and the sugar and the hidden sugar, the preservatives, the MSG, and at times also lead. God knows what happened to that. It's unhealthy option after all. And then juice that says that they're natural and real, but in fact it's nothing but just sugar and preservatives. Drinks that say that the drink that is nothing but sugar and some secret ingredient. So all those I just said no to. And then the option is just choose local and fresh. And again, these come unpackaged. So when I'm buying local, it means I'm eating the food that is grown by our farmers. I'm eating the food that is made by people around me. So I support the local economy. And also this is food that has not traveled miles, expending all that energy to reach my table. And in fact, if we look at Sikkim's organic mission, and if eating healthy is one of the objectives of the organic mission, then having junk food actually is in direct contradiction to the mission. So just like that, by banning junk food, I was eating healthier too. So we are not spoiled for options. I mean, all these fresh food. So the question to you is, which side would you choose? Then at times when I have to go shopping, I choose recyclable and I choose reusable options. Then pollution-free personal care. So I looked at also my personal care products, and I made changes there as well, because I realized that we are bombarded with more than 200 chemicals every day through our personal care products. I mean, isn't that such a skincare products it's called, but it's such a glaring misnomer. Skincare products that are again toxins. So I've just limited myself to the bare minimum, and I'm very happy with that. I have a bamboo toothbrush, I make my own toothpaste. Then the other thing that I would like to mention is about microbeads, which is very popular in the personal care products. It's nothing but plastic. It goes into our waterways, the fish are taking it, travels up the food chain, it's coming back to us. So in India, we still haven't banned this microbead. But we don't have to wait for the government to ban this. Now that we are aware that this is polluting, we ourselves as consumers can take that responsibility and choose not to buy products with microbeads. Then the other thing that I looked at was my periods, my monthly cycle. So I started by switching to cloth pads for a while, and then I switched to menstrual cup. And it has been a life-changing experience when I made this switch, because if you look at the pads, what the companies don't tell you, all your long ones, the short ones, the heavy flow ones, you name it, even the perfumed ones these days, they all have one thing in common. They have plastic in them, and it is not revealed to us, and also a host of other chemicals which we should not even be putting near our sensitive areas. So this was one big move that I made. So I urge all the ladies in the audience that you should also make this big move. Then I compost. I took a picture just this morning, and I returned home after a week, and I was very happy to see that my plants are still surviving. So that's the power of compost. But my biggest learning actually as part of the zero waste journey has been about fashion industry. And I realized that the fashion industry is the second most polluting industry, next only to the oil industry. And we are right now in the clutches of what is called as fast fashion, in the pursuit of newness. We want everything that is new out there and what is trendy, and just to keep up with the times. Who is doing that to us? It's being done deliberately through advertisements, through clever marketing exercises. So we need to actually look at this very carefully. So this is my biggest learning that has happened as part of the zero waste journey. And all the sale, the discounts, the offers constantly being thrown at us every day. The minute you switch on your television, or the minute you open a newspaper, or now online, I mean, that's like the big thing now. But who is paying the price of fast fashion? I started questioning that. And then I realized that everywhere along the line, along the chain, from production to use to disposal, this industry is hugely polluting. So after that, I started asking more questions, which I started with. Where are all things coming from? Where is it ending up ultimately? The more I questioned, the more I learned. And then I realized that at the end of my journey, the best thing to do was buy less. That is my biggest realization. So if I am buying less, it means that I'm trashing less as well. So whenever I buy, I choose stuff which is sturdy, not something that will break down in no time, and it will again have to go down to the landfill site. So buying less means trashing less as well. But the zero waste journey is not only about individuals making the right choices, it is much bigger than that. What it talks about is clean production systems, both looking at design as well as material choices, and also about effective policy regulations. This is what the zero waste concept is all about. Just last year, 2017, there was an attempt made to understand what is the total amount of plastics that the world has produced so far. This was done by 3 people, and the paper is titled Production, Use and Fate of Plastics Ever Made. They came up with this astounding revelation that we have produced 8.3 billion metric tons of plastic. That is a huge number. And of that, more than 50% actually has been produced in the last 10 years. But what is even more startling, and why there is this urgency to talk about trash and the way we choose to live, is that of the 8.3 billion metric tons of plastic produced, 6.3 billion tons were trashed. So it means that all of that plastic is lying somewhere in our landfills and in our oceans. That is a very, very startling fact. And that is an indication of the use and throw culture that we have now collectively embraced. It is an indication of how governments need to now rise up and really act against this. But it is mainly because of how corporations are choosing to package their to package their products, and how they are constantly pushing single-use items at us. So if you look at this total volume, more than 40% has been used for single-use plastic packaging. I mean, isn't that ridiculous? Something like plastic which is finite, and then you manufacture it into something which is single-use, and then it is used for 2-3 minutes, and then it is trashed, and it is going to be there forever. If that is not ridiculous, I don't know what is. So we need to act. We need to act now. We need to start questioning. A couple of weeks back, the Integrated Mountain Initiative and the Zero Waste Himalaya attempted a never-before event that happened. This was the Himalayan Cleanup, and it was on May 26th of 2018, in which all the 12 mountain states took part in this massive cleanup exercise. But it was not just a cleanup. We wanted to understand what is in our trash through a waste audit, and also do a brand audit to understand who is polluting our mountains and who is choking our drains. Which are the companies that are popping up as the most polluting across the 12 mountain states. And this was an exercise that we received overwhelming response from across the states. People we had never interacted before, people we had never met before, and they all rose up to the occasion to take part in this cleanup. More than 15,000 volunteers took part in this cleanup on one day. So I'll just share with you what were the results. The top polluting, of course, was multi-layered plastics, all your chips, your kurkure. And this is the plastic which has just no solution. It is not recyclable, no kabari will take it. So this is just going to lie there forever. Second was single-use plastics, all your styrofoam, your plastic spoons, your paper cups. PET bottles, again, huge number. Fourth was other plastic items. Bad design choices, as I was mentioning. Fifth was Tetra Pak. I'll quickly go to the brand audit. As you can see, these are, and I don't think it would be, none of the companies would be new to us. These are all companies that we see. In fact, I would like to ask which is your favorite brand up here. So nothing new here, we already know. But again, this is good to have. And this is where we must focus in the future. How do we hold corporations to be more responsible for the trash that they are shoving at us day in, day out by the millions and just taking no responsibility for it. But while that is ongoing, we cannot wait for that to happen. We need to start acting as individuals, as community. We need to rise up to the occasion and just sort of make changes in our own lives as well. The government also needs to take a strong stand against single-use plastic items. And we know this is the times of the instant karma. What we give, we get. This is what happened in Mumbai very recently when the sea threw back tons and tons of garbage back into the city. It said, like, just take it back. And we know the situation in the mountains is no different. It's short deluge and we are flooded with plastic on the road. And now plastic in our bottles, like in the water bottles, plastic in our soil, it's all coming back to us. It's instant karma. But we do have a lot of things that is ongoing. This is our own homegrown Plastic Freedom Challenge, which runs from August 8th to August 15th, 2018, which urges all individuals to be part and take part in this Plastic Freedom Challenge by saying no to single-use plastic items. So when it comes to waste, it is no longer a time to be on the sidelines. It is a time to really jump in and act. It is time to shun the use and throw culture that we have embraced. It is time to raise our collective voices against the corporations and say we demand better design and better material choices. And it's time to go zero waste. Thank you.